A place to visit, bring a visitor at any time.
Well, now you couldn't contemplate St. Patrick's Day without some good traditional music, and what could be more quintessentially Irish than the harp? It's our national symbol, and also its music is as popular as ever. However, it can be a very expensive instrument to buy or to rent, and that of course reduces the number of people who learn how to play the harp. There is, however, an innovative County Galway project that has found a solution to this problem, and it is introducing harp playing to some of our youngest citizens.
Harps. Once you start looking, you'll find them everywhere. They're the symbol of Ireland and part of the national heritage. In fact, we once loved harps so much, every family of consequence had their own resident harp player. It's slightly different nowadays.
In 2009 I started teaching the harp full time, and pretty much every phone call went a little like this. I pick up the phone, the person goes, "I've heard you're teaching harp, I'd like my daughter to start. Where do I get harp lessons?" And I'd say, "Well, you can learn with me." She'd go, "That's fine, how much is it?" €18.50 for an individual 30-minute lesson. "Okay, I can do that. And would we need a harp?" And I'd say, "Yes, you would." And then she'd go, "Well, where would I get a harp and how much would it cost?" And I'd say, "You need to pay €2,000. And then the line would go dead.
Una Ní Lanagáin is a professional harpist who's played all over the world. She's now back home and teaching full time. However, she found herself tutoring a very select group.
And that was, as I fondly call it, the daughters of the doctors and the dentists. And I really enjoyed it. But I really felt the need to make the harp more mainstream and also to make it more accessible. So I talked to my director, and Catherine Mannion is the director of Athenry Music School, which is a non-profit organisation, and she was so inspiring and encouraging.
Harps of any size are still very expensive instruments here in Europe, but Una discovered an American model that was more affordable.
I figured out that if I were to pass on my 25% teacher discount directly to the buyer, if I were to organise a bulk shipment, so we were to get a deal on the shipping costs, I ended up being able to get a unit cost of €420 per harp.
She put the word out, and a number of people said they'd take a harp at that price, including the local Gaelscoil.
We decided, well look, we'll take a new instrument, something that hasn't been, that an instrument that's commonly around the area, and we were very fortunate the fact that Una Ní Lanagáin is based locally, and Una was happy to come on board as the Moonshore and organise the entire harp programme for us. So with that, our parents carried out a fundraiser in November 2009, and with that fundraiser we were able to purchase our first 5 harps.
It just took off. We have 33 students learning the harp here right now. Of those, the vast majority don't own a harp, so only 9 of the families own their own harp. What I decided to do is to teach the kids in groups, and that brings the price down. So whereas our cost for a 30-minute lesson in Athenry Music School is €18.50, when you divide that by 3, we get €6.50, and therefore your child is going to get a class for the price of a pint.
Una teaches 3 students at a time, but there's a larger group here today to tell us what they think of the harp.
Because the tunes are nice, the teacher is nice, and I like plucking the strings. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
You have so much fun, and your teacher's so nice, and you get to go around and play different places. It's easy, but when you don't know it, it's hard, and then you finally get it.
The harp usually isn't taught to children younger than 11, and then only after they've learnt another instrument. But they're breaking all the rules here in Athenry, and Una uses some innovative methods to make learning easier.
We sometimes we get chocolate buttons on our toes so that we keep our feet straight, and we get to balance sweets on our arms so that we don't make them fall, so that if we go like that and move our arms around, then the sweets will fall and we don't get to eat them. And we get to balance, we get to make grapes there, and then so when you play you keep your thumb up.
And then there's Grania.
So I can't tell a 4-year-old child, I want you to hold your elbow at 45 degrees. Because First of all, they're not very good at translating verbal instructions into physical actions. Second of all, they don't have any reference point for 45 degrees. They don't know what 45 degrees is. So instead, what I do is I take out Grania, the hedgehog puppet.
The project and the approach has gone down well with parents.
She's brilliant, she's really in tune with the kids and she makes it fun. So they're learning through fun as well and learning a beautiful instrument at the same time. There's no problem with them practicing, they love taking it out and I love listening to it too.
I think it's an incredible opportunity for the kids and I really admire the school for taking it on and making it available because it's not something I would have ever considered myself, but now I love it.
Today the harp students are putting on a little show for their parents in the grounds of Athenry Castle. As there are 33 students and only 11 harps, Una has come up with a way for everyone to take part. The school hopes to add to its harp collection in the future, and Una would like to see other schools following their example.
There's one really interesting thing in this school is that the harp is utterly normal. There's probably more children who play the harp in this school than there is who play tin whistle, which is utterly remarkable. And if you were to take this structure and use it in other schools, it would inevitably have the same effect.
Something tells me that the number of harp players in this country could